What would you do if your own child left you all alone at an airport? Would you still love that child? Would you still wait? Would you still call that person my son or my daughter? Today, I want to tell you a simple story. The words are easy, but the feelings inside this story are very big. It is a story about an old woman, her only son, a broken heart, and also about a new family, a new home, and a new kind of love. As you listen, I want you to think about your own parents or grandparents. Think about any old person you know. Maybe they sit alone in a small house. Maybe they wait for a phone call that does not come. Now, let us begin. My name is Maria. I am almost 60 years old. My hair is turning white. My hands are not strong like before. I walk slowly now. I live in a small town near the sea in Portugal. The wind is cold, but the sound of the waves is soft. For many years, I lived in a small house there. It was not a big house, but it was full of memories. In that house, I got married. In that house, I held my baby boy in my arms. In that house, I cooked for my husband. I laughed there. I cried there. My whole life was inside those old walls. My husband died many years ago. After he died, the house became very quiet. The chairs were empty. The rooms were cold. But I stayed because that house was my home. I have only one child, my son. His name is Leo. When he was small, he was my joy. He ran in the garden. He laughed loudly. He brought little flowers for me and said, "For you, Mama." Like many mothers, I gave him everything I could. I worked. I cooked. I saved money so he could study. Sometimes I was tired. Sometimes I was sick. But when I saw his little face, I felt strong again. When Leo became a man, he had big dreams. He wanted a better job, a bigger life, a new country. One day he said to me, "Mother, I am going to Australia." I smiled and said, "If this is your dream, go." But inside my heart, I was afraid. He went to Australia. That was many years ago. He started a new life there. He married a woman named Anna. They had 2 children. He got a good job. He bought a big house. People told me, "You should be proud. Your son is successful." Yes, I was proud, but I was also alone. Every morning, I woke up in my small house. I made tea for one person. I cooked a little food. I cleaned my old table, my old chairs. Sometimes I talked to the photos on the wall, because there was no one else to talk to. In the evening, I sat near the window. I looked at the street. I watched other families together. Sometimes I saw a child hold their mother's hand. When I saw that, my eyes became wet. Maybe you know someone like this. Maybe you have a neighbor, an aunt, or a grandmother who lives alone. Maybe she always says, "I am fine," but her eyes tell you another story. Leo did not call me very often. Sometimes he sent a short message. Sometimes he sent a little money. He always wrote, "Mother, I am busy. I will visit you soon." But soon did not come. The years passed. Still, I loved him. He was my son. A mother's heart is strange. Even when it is hurt, it still loves. Many nights before I slept, I prayed, "Please let me see my son again before I die. Let me hold him once more." One afternoon, something happened. I was in my kitchen, washing a cup. The sky was gray and it was a little cold. Suddenly, I heard a knock on the door. Knock, knock. I wiped my hands. I walked to the door slowly. I opened it. There he was, a man with tired eyes, a small smile, a familiar face. "Leo?" I said. For a moment, I could not believe it. It felt like a dream. He opened his arms. "Hi, Mom," he said. I started to shake. I wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. I held him tight. I could feel his warm body. I could smell his cologne. In that moment, all the lonely years became small. He came inside. I made tea for him. My hands were shaking, so I spilled a little hot water, but I did not care. My son was here. We sat at the small table in my kitchen. I looked at his face again and again, like I was afraid he would disappear. I asked, "How is your wife? How are the children?" He said, They are fine, Mom. They are healthy. They go to school. They play in the yard. As he spoke, I tried to imagine my grandchildren. I had never seen them, only in photos. In the photos, they were always smiling. I wondered, do they know I exist? Do they know they have a grandmother here, far away? We talked, but there was also a small distance between us. He was my son, but also a stranger now. He lived in another world, with another rhythm. After some time, his face became serious. Mom, he said, I need to talk to you about something important. My heart beat faster. Is something wrong? I asked. He shook his head. No, nothing is wrong. But I worry about you. You are getting old. You live here alone in this old house. It is not safe. It is not good. I looked around. The paint was old. The floor made small sounds when we walked. The roof sometimes leaked when it rained. But to me, it was still my home. He continued, I want to take you to Australia with me. You can live with us. You can have your own room. You can see the kids every day. For a second, I was quiet. This was something I had dreamed about. To live close to my son, to hear my grandchildren laugh, to wake up and know I am not alone. But another part of me felt afraid. New country, new language, new people. No old house, no old street, no memories on the walls. I said slowly, this house is my life. I was born in this town. I married your father here. I said goodbye to him here. Every corner of this house knows my story. Leo looked a little impatient. Mom, this house is not safe. It is too old. If you fall, who will help you? In Australia, you will have everything. We will take care of you. Then he said something more. We should sell this house. You do not need it anymore. You will live with us. You can use the money for your new life. I looked at his face. He was smiling. I wanted to believe that he was thinking about my comfort, my safety, my future. Maybe you have seen a situation like this. Sometimes older people must choose, stay in the house they love or move to a new place with family. It is not an easy choice. That night, I sat on my small bed and fought. I looked at the old photos on the wall. My wedding photo, a photo of baby Leo, a photo of my husband holding him. I touched the frame with my fingers. I whispered, what should I do? I did not want to leave, but I also did not want to say no to my son. He was my only child. If I did not go with him, maybe he would not come back again. In the end, my heart chose my son. The next morning, Leo said, Mom, let us do it. Let us sell the house and buy your ticket. You will come with me. You will not be alone anymore. I closed my eyes for a moment. Then I opened them and said, yes, okay. The weeks after that were very busy. People came to look at the house. They walked through my rooms. They touched my walls. They talked about price, about repairs, about numbers. To them, it was only a house. To me, it was the place where I became a wife, a mother, a widow. But no one could see that. Finally, the house was sold. Paper was signed. Money was transferred. Leo took care of everything. He also took all the money. He said, I will keep it safe for you, Mom. We will use it for your new life in Australia. I trusted him. He was my son. I packed my clothes in a small suitcase. I took some photos and a few small things from the house, but not many. There was no space, and Leo said, you will buy new things in Australia. The last day, I walked from room to room. I touched the windows. I looked at the garden. I said goodbye in my heart. Then we left. The airport was big and loud. People walked fast. Suitcases rolled on the floor. Voices spoke in many languages. For an old woman like me, it was confusing. I held my ticket in my hand like it was a small treasure. I was tired, but I was also excited. In my mind, I saw my grandchildren running to me at the airport in Australia. I imagined hugging them, hearing them say, Grandma. Leo walked with me. He looked at his watch often. He seemed in a hurry. When we reached a big hall, he said, Mom, wait here. The way to the gate is very long. You cannot walk so far. I will go and bring a wheelchair for you. I will be back in 5 minutes. I sat on a chair. My suitcase was near my feet. I smiled and said, okay, I will wait. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. I looked left and right. No Leo. I told myself, Maybe there are many people. Maybe he is still in the line. 20 minutes passed. My smile became smaller. 30 minutes passed. My hands started to shake. I looked at every face. I looked at every man in a blue jacket, every man with brown hair. None of them was my son. In my head, a little voice started to speak. What if he does not come back? What if? But I pushed that voice away. No, I said to myself. He is my son. A son does not leave his mother alone in an airport. He will come. He must come. 45 minutes passed. 1 hour passed. My heart was beating very fast now. My legs were cold. The big hall around me felt bigger, and I felt smaller. At that moment, a man in a police uniform saw me. He walked slowly toward me. "Ma'am," he said in a gentle voice, "are you waiting for someone?" I nodded. "Yes," I said. "I am waiting for my son. He's getting a wheelchair. We are going to Australia together." The officer looked at my ticket. He asked, "Do you have a photo of your son?" I opened my bag and took out an old photo of Leo. He was young in that photo, maybe 20. He was smiling, with his arm around my shoulders. The officer looked at the photo. He looked at my ticket again. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Please stay here. I will go and check. I will come back soon." I said, "Thank you." I waited again. Time passed slowly. I watched people go to their gates. I watched hugs, kisses, goodbyes, and happy meetings. I was the only person still sitting alone in the same chair. Finally, the officer came back. This time his face was different. There was sadness in his eyes. He sat down next to me. "Ma'am," he said softly, "I am very sorry. Your son has already boarded the plane. He went through the gate alone. He did not ask for a wheelchair. The plane has taken off." For a moment, my mind stopped. I felt like the room moved away from me. I could hear people, but it was far, far away. I said slowly, "No, that is not true. My son loves me. He said we will go together. Maybe there is some mistake." The officer shook his head. "I saw him with my own eyes," he said quietly. He gave his passport. He walked into the plane. He went alone. Tears came to my eyes. My chest hurt. It was hard to breathe. In that moment, I understood. He did not lose me by accident. He left me on purpose. Maybe you think, how can a child do this? But in our world, such things happen. Some old people are left in hospitals. Some are left in nursing homes and nobody visits. Some are left in small rooms with only a television and a bed. The officer looked at me. His own eyes became wet. He said, "Some people forget their hearts." "I am sorry, ma'am." I whispered, "My name is Maria." He gently said, "My name is Thomas Rivera. I work as a police officer here. You remind me of my mother. She died 5 years ago. When I look at you, I think of her." Then he said something that changed my life. "Please do not stay here alone," he said. "You will get sick. You have no house now, no one waiting for you. Please come with me. Come to my home. My wife is kind. She will cook for you. You can rest." I was surprised. He was a stranger. I did not want to cause trouble. "I do not want to be a problem," I said. He shook his head. "It is not a problem," he answered. "It is love. You are like a blessing to me." He called his wife on the phone. He said, "I found an old woman at the airport. She is alone. Her son left her. Can she stay with us?" I could hear a woman's voice on the phone. She said, "Yes, please bring her home." That night, I did not sleep on a hard airport chair. I slept in a warm bed in a small clean room in Thomas's house. His wife's name was Sofia. She brought me soup and bread. She talked to me gently, like a daughter. She said, "You are safe here. Do not be afraid." I cried a lot that night. I missed my old house. I missed the idea of my son, the son I thought I had. But these two strangers gave me something very precious: kindness. The next morning, Thomas got a phone call. He went to another room to talk. His voice was low. I could not hear the words, but I could feel something was wrong. When he came back, he smiled, but there was pain in his eyes. "Is everything okay?" I asked. "Yes," he said, "everything is fine." But I could see that it was not fine. What I did not know was this: the flight that my son took had crashed. There were no survivors. My son was gone. Thomas knew this, but he did not tell me. He understood something very deep. Even if a child hurts a mother, the mother's love does not die. Even after what Leo did, I still prayed for him. I still hoped maybe he would call. Maybe he would say, "I am sorry, Mom." Maybe one day we would meet again, and he would hold my hand. Thomas did not want to break that last small light in my heart, so he chose silence. He chose kindness instead of hard truth. Days passed slowly. I stayed with Thomas and Sofia. Their home began to feel less strange. Thomas helped me go to the doctor. He bought my medicine. He filled out forms that I could not understand. He talked to me every day, asked me how I felt. Sofia cooked warm meals. Sometimes she sat with me and showed me family photos. Sometimes we watched television together. Sometimes we just drank tea and were quiet, and even that quiet felt safe. Their children, when they visited, called me Grandma Maria. The first time I heard that, I cried again. It was a different kind of crying. Not only sadness, but also gratitude. I began to pray in a new way. I did not only pray for my own pain. I prayed for Leo's soul. I prayed for the 2 children he left behind in Australia. I prayed for all mothers and fathers who sit alone and wait for a child who does not come. Maybe, as you listen now, you think of your own parents. Maybe they are far away. Maybe they are close, but you are busy. This story is not only about me. It is also a mirror. It shows us what can happen when we forget the people who gave us life. One day, Thomas asked me, "Maria, do you ever think about going back to your old house?" I looked at him and smiled softly. "I already lost that house," I said, "but I found a new home here. I lost the son I gave birth to, but I found another son, the son my heart truly needed." He did not answer, but his eyes became warm. In that silence, we both understood. Family is not only blood. Family is also love and choice. Now, if you are still listening, I want to speak to you directly. Maybe you are a son. Maybe you are a daughter. Maybe you are a young person with many dreams, and your parents are far away. It is good to have dreams. It is good to work, to travel, to build a new life. But please, do not forget the people who held your hand when you could not walk. Do not forget the person who woke up at night when you were sick. Do not forget the one who ate less so you could eat more. A phone call is small, but it can warm a lonely heart. A visit once a year can give an old person strength for many months. A simple message, "I love you, Mom," or "Are you okay, Dad?" can stop many tears. If you have parents or grandparents who are still alive, you are lucky. If they live alone, try to visit them. If you are far away, call them. Show them that they are not forgotten. And if you feel alone, remember this too. Sometimes life takes away people from us, but brings new people to our side. Sometimes the family we need is not the family we were born with. Sometimes strangers can become our true home. I lost my house. I lost my son. But I found Thomas and Sofia. I found a new home. I found that love can come from unexpected places. So here is the lesson of my story. Do not trade your heart for money. Do not trade your parents for comfort. Do not leave the person who once carried you on their back, sitting alone in a cold chair. And if you are like me, if you are old and lonely, remember, your story is not finished. There may still be people ahead who will love you, who will call you mother, father, or grandma with real feeling. Thank you for listening to my story. Now I want to ask you, if you were in my place, what would you do? Would you forgive your child? Would you accept a new family? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, please like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more simple stories with big feelings.